Hello and welcome. This is another episode of Rochester Gilda's Club art segment. My name is Melissa and this is our project for this week. It is a macrame keychain. What you'll need today is some twine. I cut 4 equal strands of twine, probably about a yard each. I have my keychain ring, just recycled it from another one I had. I had a bead, an extra bead, so I'm going to use that, but you don't have to if you don't have a bead available. Some tape to hold down our key ring as we do our technique, and last but not least, a brush to create the fringe at the bottom here. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to start by getting just a little piece of tape, and we're going to fasten our ring to a solid surface, because you want to be able to pull the string tightly and make sure it doesn't come undone. So I'm going to start with my string. I'm going to fold it in half, end to end. So I'm going to focus on the crease where it folds into, and I'm going to wrap it into the ring, and I'm going to pull the ends through and tighten it. So that is going to be my first set of strings. We're going to be working in sections of 4 strings at a time. It sounds a little complicated, but I promise it's not that difficult. So I'm going to do the same technique. So I made sure that they're end to end. I have my loop. I put my loop under and through keychain. I'm going to pull my 2 strings through the loop and pull it tight. So I got 2 of the 4 that we need. I'm going to keep on going. I'm going to repeat. We have our ends. And pull the string through the loop that we created. So it's 3. And last but not least, 4. So here's the last one. Loop over, pull the strings up through, and now we have 4 sets of 2 pieces of string. Alright, for this next segment, we're going to work left to right. So what we're going to do is we have our 2 rows of knotted string, and we're going to put them in 3s. I'm going to grab the 2 in the middle, and I'm going to hold them down. You can even use some tape if you have some extra tape. Keeps things from moving, but you're going to remove the tape after we do this loop. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a 4 shape out of the 2 strings, and then we're curving it. Then I'm getting this right side string. I'm going over the line and then under the 2 strings, and I'm pulling it up, and then we come in nice and tight. Now next step, we're going to go the other way, so we're going to do it backwards. 4. We're going to go over the line, and we're going to curve it under, and this is what we call a square knot. So I got my first square knot, and so I'm moving these over, and I'm going to be getting my next round. Actually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the right side now. I'm sorry, I said right to left. It's going to be right, left, middle. Right, left, middle. And that's going to kind of give us a little bit of a direction in our pattern here. So I'm moving all the ones that I don't need out of my way. You definitely don't want to confuse yourself. I'm going to grab the 2 in the middle. I'm going to put that piece of tape back on here. Create my number 4. And then I'm going to go over the line, tuck under, and pull. And then I'm going to go ahead, we're going to go our backwards 4, over the line, and tuck under, and pull. And that's our second square knot. And as soon as you figure out the basic premise, it goes by a lot quicker. Now, so we got our two sections, our right and our left, and then we're going to join them together in the middle. So I will put these a little closer. And then, so I should have 2 on the far right. I should have 2 on the far left. I've got my 4. Move this over. So we go over the line, under the 2, and we're going to pull up, make sure it's nice and tight. Backwards 4, over this line, tuck under all the lines. We're going to pull these all together, and there we go. And then all we do is we repeat it. We go I probably went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 before I even thought of a bead. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do the same thing over again. You're starting from the left, and then you go right, and then you go middle. Do it one more time. Tape my pieces in place. My number 4, over the line, under everything, and tighten. Backwards 4, under the line or over the line, underneath everything, and tighten. And then you move on to the right side. All right, I'm going to keep going. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I made my way down about, I would say, almost 2 inches, or roughly 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches. And this is where I'm going to decide to put my bead. You do not need to add a bead to this. It's not necessary. It's just decorative. So it's personal preference. So what I ended up doing, I went left, right, middle was the pattern. So I left it off with the left and right, and now the middle I'm going to add the 2 beads. If you have a threading needle, this will make your life so much easier if you have one. I unfortunately don't have one, so I am going to attempt to thread this without. So when I thread something without a needle, I tend to bend the string so the fray doesn't touch. And sometimes this works out, sometimes it doesn't. And it's just kind of working it. The bead I chose has a fairly wide opening. I also have this deconstructed paper clip that I can just kind of push the thread through. And it doesn't matter if the string gets messed up because we have excess string to work with, and I can start to see it coming out the other end. And I'm actually going to try to use this, there we go, paper clip to pull out the string. So once I have that, I pull it all the way up, and then I proceed to finish my square knot. So my number 4, tuck underneath everything, pull it up, and I go backwards 4 over the straight line here, under all the middle strings, and I pull up. So that is going to secure that bead in place. And then we're going to continue with our pattern. So we start on the left side, and we're just pretty much securing everything around. This is why you need the tape, because you want it as tight as you can possibly make it. Otherwise, and I didn't have the tape the first time around, and it's actually pretty loose on the edges here, and I wish it was a little bit tighter. So now we do the backwards 4 and pull it up, and you can go down as far as you'd like, but I think I'm going to pretty much finish this off as soon as I got one last row underneath this bead. So I got you'll also notice that your strings on the edges are getting shorter. The ones in the middle are still pretty long. So, and then, oops. You also want to make sure you have enough space, because you want to be able to see which strings are where, because it is very easy to get confused. And the more you do this, like anything else, the better you'll get. And if your pattern gets messed up, you can always get a needle or a paper clip and unknot it. But I think we're good right there. So the next step is to get some scissors, and we're going to trim the end of this to where we want. I went ahead and I cut the edges off so I can start fraying the ends like I did over here. So first things first, I kind of use my fingers to kind of start to pull it apart, just to kind of give my brush a starting spot. It's going to be a lot easier if you kind of rough it up with your fingers first and then comb it out. All right, let's see if that works. If you have a finer bristle brush, the better, or comb even. If you don't have a comb, you can use your fingers. It's just going to take a lot longer, and that's quite all right. It just depends on how much time you have. So again, alright, so that is pretty much it as far as creating a macrame keychain. These are really popular right now. You can also take it a step further and you can dip dye these. You can use food coloring, Kool-Aid, like the powdered no sugar Kool-Aid, fabric dye. Even if you had alcohol ink, you can definitely use those to stain this string. If you wanted to do an ombre, you would dip it all the way and then lift half of it out and then leave the rest of it in, so it's going to have a lighter top part and a darker bottom. But yeah, it's very versatile. Kids, grandkids, everyone can join in making these. All right, hope you enjoyed this project. Have a great week.